Hello guys and welcome to another episode of Pixel Predictions with Kassad. Today we are going to be talking about Blast Showdown. We're going to have North American bracket and European bracket. There's only two spots, one each from each division, and they're going to be getting into the spring finals. So I think we can start with the European one. You can see on your screen that there is 8 teams and only one spot for the spring finals, and it's a single elimination, pretty cutthroat. And the teams are relatively good here. The name that is standing out here is Cloud9, obviously. But I think we can start off with the first quarterfinals. That's a NIP against OG. NIP is a team that's been having quite a few problems lately, and even before. But we're not going to talk about that period. The latest part of this lineup is the fact that Hampus kind of benched himself for personal reasons. They brought in conflict. They underperformed massively, and they are struggling right now. I think they are looking to get through the RMRs as much as they can, get to the last major, and then go into the phase of rebuilding or something. I really don't know what this team has been like in mind when it comes to direction, or this organization is really a place where I would not like to be honest. But when speaking about the team, and the performance is still like way under what we expected, especially after the coming in from Alexi. And he said something that the teams, they're not probably not going to change anything, that Hampus benched himself. Now they got config. It's really problematic right now. On the other side, we have OG in a similar situation, but not quite dire. Nexa is out of that team. He benched himself again for personal reasons, and they managed to kind of repair it a little bit. And I don't know how they're going to perform, especially because they got Nico. I don't think Nico is a valuable replacement when you compare it to Nexa. Right now, the only thing that's going for them, they're always playing good on blast events. And somehow, no matter the lineup, no matter the opponent, no matter the situation they're in, they're always playing good on those events. And that's why I'm banking on them to actually make it into the semis. Now, I don't know in what maps are going to be there, because both teams are very versatile, and both teams are going to be, trying their own best maps, probably, which is maybe something like Inferno. But I'm not really going to go deep into that one. I am thinking that OG is going to win this one. If you want to go from betting perspective, it's probably going to be in 3 maps, so over 2.5 is going to be valuable bet, but definitely OG to win this one. I'm going to be taking that one. Now, the second game, Cloud9 against Copenhagen Flames. Cloud9, we saw them play against FaZe. We saw them playing against the Pro League. They reached the finals. They didn't manage to beat FaZe. They didn't manage to deny them the Grand Slam, but they did play well overall. We always talk about they have a problematic T side, but somehow they make it work by individual performances from Shiro, Exile, Hobbit, and whatnot. So overall, they should not have problems against teams like Copenhagen Flames. I think they're going to win this one. It's going to be very convincing. And I do think they're going to be it's going to be in a 2-0 fashion. If it goes to 1.7, 1.8, I'm definitely taking that one, because Cloud9 is much stronger right now. They never ever struggle against these type of teams, even in the situations where the T side is not looking so good. They have the most problems in the mid to late rounds, but individually speaking, they should be enough for them to beat Copenhagen Flames. Now the third game right here is big against Rare Atom. Now we saw Red Atom beating Liquid, taking a map of Navi in Pro League, and they were sharp, they were like organized. They seem to be the best Asian team right now in front of the IHC, even with or without score. I think they're going to be the best team in Asia for a while now, unless they make some ridiculous changes. But you never know with the Asian scene. So right now they're facing Big, who is in quite a little bit of trouble. Uh, they removed Searson to the inactive role. They brought in the kid from the academy team called Hype. He performed very well online. He performed pretty decent when it comes to like a young kid like that coming into the main team. I didn't expect something like that, but I definitely did notice him. I don't think it's going to be enough in this tournament. I don't think it's going to be enough the RMR, but that's a subject for another video. But in this game, I do think Rare Atom, from what I've seen, this game can definitely go into 3 maps, and I think Rare Atom can win it. So I'm definitely going to go with the surprise here. I think the odds are going to be set really good for this one. I'm going to be taking Rare Atom. And we have Fnatic against 9in. Now, Fnatic is a team it's kind of hard to decide how they, are they good or not. They have been playing the quarterfinals of major in Rio. They played decent in Katowice. They beat outsiders. They lost later. I can't remember to who. But the thing is, like they they do tend to play well when they need to play well, and sometimes they do struggle. But I don't think they're going to struggle against these teams. So I do think they're going to win it. I don't think that it's going to be too much of a trouble for them, even though Nine is a team that qualify for the RMR too. But still, like when you play these kind of events right before the RMR, the focus is on the RMR. But I do think Fnatic is gonna take this one. So that leaves us with four teams, which is OG and Cloud9 in the first semi. OG, as like I said, they are playing very well when it comes to blast events. They're always performing well, but right now they're facing the toughest opponent in the bracket, and that's C9. C9 that's coming off the final in Pro League. They're probably going to stay there getting some sort of boot camp up until the RMR. Some of them are living in Serbia right here, so probably all of them. I'm not really sure, but I know they're going to stay in the boot camp. So they're probably gonna win this game very convincingly. Can OG take a map? I do think so. If you want to look for value, I think it's over 2.5 maps. There is a value there, or OG to win at least one map. There is also value there. But overall, I do believe Cloud9 is going to win this one simply because they're known for winning the games they're supposed to win against weaker opponents. They might struggle, they might lose a map, but at the end they always win. So I'm going to be taking them to win the semifinals and get into the grand final. Rare Atom against Fnatic. That's the second semifinal right there, and I think as much as I like Rare Atom as a team, I do think I have to take Fnatic there simply because they're a more compact team. I do trust in Nikodos and Crims and Roy to deliver, a massive damage against because they're not going to be feeling any pressure because they're going to be the favorites for once right now because, recently when Fnatic, faces any other stronger team, they're considered the underdogs, even though they're top 8 at the major. They played well. They're going to be, considered favorites right here. I think they're going to take this one. I'm not really sure it's going to be 2-0 because Rare Atom can play Inferno. They can beat them on Inferno. So maybe the value bet would there be over 2.5 maps, but I'm taking Fanatics simply because for the sake of the bracket, maybe this game is a no bet at all. If I see the odds and I don't like it, I'm probably not going to bet on that one. But if I had to pick, I would pick Fnatic. That leads us to grand finals, and the grand finals online best of three. Cloud9 is going to probably win this one simply because they are right now feeling really good. I do believe even though they lost the final, they're feeling really good. And the problem they have is against these top tier teams when they don't get the openings, when they get into a 5v5 in the mid rounds, in the late rounds, they're making a lot of mistakes and they don't know how to finish the round. They're very predictable. Against Cloud9, who is probably not going to understand that flaw in Cloud9's game, Fnatic is going to probably give them a lot of openings and they're not going to, manage to kind of bounce back from that. Cloud9 is going to be taking a lot of rounds off the main advantage, and I think Cloud9 overall will win this this matchup and they're going to book their spot into the spring final. I think that concludes the European side of the bracket and the European division. I think we're going to switch now to the North American one. All right, guys, we switched to the North American side of the bracket and the North American division. Again, the same thing, 8 teams, one spot into the spring finals. We can jump right into it. We have Pain against MIBR in the first quarterfinal. Pain managed to get into the quarters of the Pro League, something that I would never expect them to do. They played so good, they played so relaxed, and so sharp at some times that it's super difficult for them for people to beat them. They're going to be facing MIBR, who is a pretty unpredictable team. I don't think they're gonna, have any chances in this one simply because I'm speaking this from experience. Now, when we're like a team on the rise, a team that can surprise, when you feel like the confidence after beating a couple of good teams, then the wins come in series, right? You can like beat team after team after team, but then the same goes if you go down into crisis, then you can lose to everyone. I think Pain is now in a good spot that they can, win multiple games, and I think they're going to win against MIBR pretty convincingly. I do believe it's going to be a 2-0-2, but I'm just going to wait for the odds there. Probably going to put one unit on Pain. Team Liquid against Nouns. Now, we saw Team Liquid disappoint us once again in the Pro League. We expected really good performance in the playoffs after that group stage. They managed to screw it up. They managed to lose to Pain Gaming. They look like a tier 4 team, but, the past is the past. They have the RMR coming. They have the Blast Showdown right now, and they're facing Nouns. Nouns is a North American team who is mostly known for, qualifying maybe for the RMR, playing those cash cups here and there, doing some damage on the qualifier, but nothing more than that. I don't think they can be a even close to match against Liquid in any single circumstance or any single map or anything like that. I do believe Team Liquid is going to win this one. It's going to be a 2-0, and if the odds are giving me like above 1.65, I'm probably taking that one for 1 unit for Liquid to beat Nouns 2-0. The third and the most interesting matchup in all the quarterfinals in both regions is Complexity against Imperial. Now we all remember that matchup from the Rio qualifier where Complexity lost to Imperial in the last game, and then they met in the Katowice. Complexity won. It's always going to go to 3 maps, and it's always going to be close, and it's always Imperial is going to pick Overpass and do very well. Then Complexity is going to beat Inferno, and then it's going to end up on Mirage as a decider. It's super going to be interesting game. I think this is going to be the case this time too. I do going to have to give the edge a little bit to Complexity, simply because this game doesn't have any kind of weight, doesn't have any kind of crazy pressure that Imperial can rely on, maybe on experience of Fallen or something like that. Complexity can play loose. I think they are going to play loose, and they're probably going to win this one. I think the odds are going to give us even money there, 185 on each team, and I think there is a lot of value to take Complexity on that one. The fourth game, Furia against EG Black. Now, Furia, we saw them, similar to Liquid, not really performing like we want them to perform, even though they have the pieces in Yuri and Keiserato. Yuri has been underwhelming, Keiserato standardly good. Now, when it comes to North American region, they're always playing well. And for the opponent right now, they have EG Black, the team that doesn't really stand any chances, similar to Nouns in this bracket. I don't think they feel any pressure. I mean, we have, discussed EG and all of their teams recently way more than we should have. But definitely, I mean, right now, Fury is a much stronger team, 2-0, convincing fashion. I'm taking that one. If it's above 1.65, I'm definitely taking that one, which leaves us two semifinals. Pain against Team Liquid, Pain against the best North American team, I guess you can say, even though that sounds pretty ridiculous right now, the way Liquid is playing. All the signs, the stats are saying maybe we should get Pain another chance here. Maybe they can beat them again. Now, LAN and online, playing in Europe, playing in the North American region, there's too many aspects right there. I don't know if Pain can take Liquid on twice, simply because it's very hard to beat Liquid twice. We saw that Rare Atom beat them the first game of the Pro League, and then they demolished them in the second one. So that might happen in this one too. Even though I like how Pain is playing, I do think that Liquid is going to take this one, simply because they always dominate in the NA region, and it doesn't really matter what maybe Pain can take Nuke or Vertigo. I'm not really sure how the map veto will go, but overall, I do believe Liquid is probably going to win this one. I'm going to wait for the odds, and if Liquid is like less than 1.5, I'm not going to take it. Probably going to be a no bet for me. But if it's above 1.5, I'm taking Liquid definitely. The second matchup, the second same is Complexity against Furia. Now that's a matchup, like I said, from Complexity doesn't really feel any pressure. If this was the RMR, then I would have no doubts who am I picking. But they're not feeling any pressure. On the other side, Furia might focus on the RMR quite a bit, but I'm still gonna take them simply because they're Brazilian. They are always fired up to play. They always have the motivation to play any kind of game. It doesn't really matter what the league is. Doesn't really matter what the bracket is or who the opponent is. They're always playing 100%, and that's something that I respect when it comes to the Brazilian teams. And that's why I have to respect it right here. And the individual quality is on the side of Furia, and the style they nurture is very difficult to deal with, especially if you are a team against Complexity that reacts very poorly on early pressure. So this is what Furia do, and this is what they're going to do, and everybody knows that, and Complexity knows that. It's just about how you react to it. I don't think they're going to react well, which would leave Furia in the final. Now, the grand final game for that spot in the spring final, again, is between Liquid and Furia. Now, what history says, and my experience in the North American region when I was there like for 4 or 5 years, can't even remember. But the point is like that Furia has always been playing well against Team Liquid, especially in this uh, I can't say the non-important tournaments, simply because the major is coming up right after this, and the RMRs as well, obviously. So Fure is always playing well against this team, and now this team of Liquid is not doing so good against, better teams. We saw them struggling, in the Pro League, losing to Pain. We saw them struggling even before that. They didn't manage to get into the playoffs, I believe, in Katowice. I can't remember, but the thing is, like, they seem to be very unpredictable. And I have to say that I believe this is going to be again even money. So if I have to bet on this one, the safest option should be over 2.5 maps, which means there's going to be 3 maps. Doesn't really matter who wins. But if I have to pick a team that's going to win, it's going to be Furia, simply because the current state of the teams and the form they're in right now and the styles they usually play. So I think that concurs the both regions, both brackets of the European and North American Showdown for Blast Spring Final. And if you guys like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and share. Leave a comment. Who do you think is going to win? And just one more thing, obviously, we have to mention that our sponsor for this video and sponsor for our show and our channel is 1xBet. And if you go to their channel and if you go to the platform and use the 1xBet or Kassad, 1x Kassad or Kassad 1x, you can get up to 130 euro bonus with registration. And the platform is pretty decent. They offer a lot of options, especially when it comes to CS. So make sure you go check it out. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other one.